Imagine you are in a car with your family, you come to a red light, you're sitting there, the light turns green, you proceed into the intersection, a car comes the other way, runs his red light, and smashes into your car, injures you and your family. Who's responsible for that? Whose fault is that? Well, a reactive person would say, well, that's a no-brainer. The person who ran the red light should have stopped. He didn't, and it's his fault. A proactive person would say, that's my fault. I had control of that situation. I should not have just relied on this light turning green for the safety of my family. I should have taken 1 second, looked to the left to make sure it was safe before I proceeded into the intersection. So I had that control. I had that ability to do that, and I didn't. So it was my fault. So a proactive person, in fact, would have looked left, would have let that car go, maybe give him the finger as he goes by, that's fine. But the proactive person wouldn't have let that happen, wouldn't have been in that accident. The reactive person would have, and then blamed it on circumstances, the crazy driver or whatever. So that's the biggest difference between like a proactive mindset and a reactive mindset. It's a story I use all the time. But that could apply to just about anything. If you're a salesperson and you say, well, this person didn't buy from me. They said it was too expensive. It's not my fault. I don't set the prices. It was too expensive, so they didn't buy it. A proactive person would say is, okay, what can I do to make sure this person understands the value of what I'm selling so that the value scales are at least even, so that they don't say it's too expensive. It's my job to make sure they see the value in it, and in the price is a fair price for the value. And so it could be done with anything else. If you're running a job, or say you're a wedding planner, you could say, well, the bride's crazy, the mother-in-law is crazy, the mother's crazy, the bridesmaids are crazy. But as a wedding planner, this is a stressful time for people. You know all of the things that could go wrong, and you have control of that. Do you know exactly what's going to happen? No. But you can proactively make sure that nothing bad happens. Now, you can make sure, well, I told him the spelling of the bride's name for the cake, and it came and it was spelled wrong, and everybody freaked out. Not my fault, though. It's the baker's fault. Well, there's things you could do. That's a big deal. So you could just confirm the name. You say, take a picture before the cake gets here so I can make sure. There's lots of proactive things you can do. So in the book, they really talk about the proactive mindset versus a reactive mindset. But for me, I'm always thinking about what are the tactics? Like, what can I proactively do to make sure nothing bad happens later? How can I control this situation by being proactive? It's just, it could be safety. Well, I couldn't help it. A rock flew up and hit me in the eye. Well, you could have wore safety glasses. You could put a guard on whatever that piece of equipment you're using is. There's lots of things you could have done to proactively control the situation. And so I think that's why this is such a fundamental habit. Habit one, be proactive. And then you can use it dozens of times per day if you really think and apply it. What am I about to do? I'm going to meet with this customer. What are all the questions they're going to ask? How can I proactively prepare for that? Or if I'm like a jeweler, who's going to come in today? What questions are they going to ask? What am I going to get stumped on? What's the pushback going to be? And how am I going to respond to that? So when they come in and say, well, they didn't buy today because they had this ridiculous question that I couldn't answer. At least don't let that happen again. Go find out a good answer to that question. Just like, people that they say, my customers are crazy, my suppliers are terrible, my team is not good. Well, what are you doing to fix that? Maybe something happens once and it was kind of unpredictable, but what are you doing proactively to make sure it doesn't happen again? It's just like that intersection where you go through the intersection and get hit. What happens the next time you're at an intersection? Are you gonna look this time? What if you don't look again and you get hit again? Whose fault is it now? So the proactive person doesn't blame circumstances. The proactive person it's him or herself that's in control all the time, because you're being proactive and you're thinking about things, you're thinking ahead. And so for me, this is habit one. Be proactive is number one, and something that I think about every day in every situation, because I don't like to handle things after they happen. Customer complaint that I could have proactively set an expectation for. A lot of people say, well, I can't control the weather. So if you're that wedding planner and it rains, well, it's not my fault it started raining. No, but you probably know that water drops from the sky sometimes, and depending on your climate, it could happen pretty often. But what's your backup plan? You have to proactively consider other options. So it's raining, no problem. We already talked about what's going to happen if it rains, and that's what we're doing. So it reduces the stress for everybody, including yourself. And if you're a manager or someone who has a team and you're proactive, you're setting your team up for success. All right, that's it. Be proactive. Habit one of the most important things that you can focus on every day. Put a little sign that you look at every day that says be proactive, and do that. Think ahead. What am I about to do today? What could go wrong? What can I do to make sure that it doesn't, or at least be prepared for what could happen? So habit one, be proactive. I'm RJ. I've been reading a book a month for over 20 years, mostly on personal development and business and leadership. And I've been putting these habit in motion videos together to help people who don't necessarily have the passion for reading that I do. But still, I think people should get the benefit of some of these great minds and some of these great books. So hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments how we can continue to improve, and have a great day. Be proactive.